students. All right, so let's go through the PowerPoint assignment in Cengage together. I know it can be a little bit confusing, and hopefully with a recording, you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to watch everything as many times as you need in order to help you with this project. Now, I know we completed a little bit in class, but I've gone ahead and started from scratch for anybody who wasn't there or who just wants to double check their work. All right, so I've got the instructions open, and our first instruction is that we need to change the file name for our file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to File, give it a click. I'm going to go Save As. I'm just going to put it in my Downloads folder, but if there's another place that you would like to put your files, you are welcome to. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this 1 at the end. I'm just going to make that a 2. That's the only thing that I need to do. So I have another file on here that's already a 2. I'm going to tell it to overwrite this file. That means that the old file is going to go away, and this is going to become the only one of that file. Perfect. So we've completed that step, and I can see that the file was created specifically for me. The first thing to do on this first slide is to insert a picture. So I am going to go to Insert up here on the top ribbon, Picture, and then I just need to find that picture on my computer. And if I scroll down a little bit, it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and then click Insert. Now I've got this image here, but I need to change the size. So I am inside of this section, and I'm going to go ahead and alter my size by just using my keyboard. I'm just going to put a 4 and press Enter. So that's now changed the file height to 4 inches. I now need to crop the photo. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click. I've got the option to crop. You also have the option up here if you would like to use it, but I just find right clicking sometimes is a little easier. So I'm going to go ahead and click on crop. Now I can see that I've got these little black lines in the corners and on all of the sides. If I just click and drag from the center, you can see that there's this gray area that appears. That is removing the image from the cropped frame. That's not exactly what I want to do. So I want to make sure that I'm going to go ahead and just click and drag it back. That way it's right in that center there. Because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm grabbing this side, because we've got all this white space here. So I'm just going to grab from the side, and we can see how my cursor changes. It looks like a little black T. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that in. And you'll notice as I'm dragging, the width over here didn't change until I released my mouse. So in order to get it pretty precise, I'm going to have to just walk it in, click and release, click and release. Oh, I'm almost there. Oh, I don't think I can get it any closer than that. Oh, I can. Don't worry about getting it exact. I would say if it's 5.0 something, you're A-okay. Just make sure that this height is exactly 4. So now that I've finished cropping, we can see that there's some gray area over here. That's the area that will no longer appear. So now that it's cropped, I'm going to go ahead and click away, which removes that. I can move this image as normal. Now I'm going to need to sharpen this image. So I'm going to go to, oh, it's hidden. Hold on. Forgive the sudden change in screen. My screen recorder is blocking some of the options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the image, and then I'm going to come up here to Format. In Format, I'm going to apply the Sharpen 50% correction. So I'm going to come over here to the sun icon with corrections. Going to go ahead and click, and as I roll over, I can see that I've got a little bar that says Sharpen 0%. So I need to keep moving over, and here's my Sharpen 50%. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click, and it's been applied. Next, I need to position the picture within the left brown frame. So I've got this frame right here, and I need this corner to just squeak on up in there. So I'm just going to click and drag and bring it up as close as I can. Again, it doesn't have to be perfectly exact, and the light colored background makes it a little bit difficult. But if I move it up too far, I can see the change in the brown. Same if I move it too far to the side. So I'm just gonna move it as close as I can, just about there. And I can see when I click on the image again, I can see that little gap. If I use the arrow keys on my computer, I can snuggle up a little bit closer to that line. But again, it doesn't have to be perfectly exact. You just don't want a big gap. All right, moving on to slide 2. This is the one with the stack of money that looks like almost bamboo. So we're going to apply the saturation 66% to the picture. So we're going to click on that image again. We're going to go to Format, and we are going to go to Color. We can see this top row here is all color saturation. So we're going to roll over and look for 66, which looks like it's this third option here, and give it a click. Next, we're going to convert the slide body text to word art. Now that's not this title. That's all of this down here. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of that. And then I am going to go to Format up top here and Word Art Style. So I am looking for, and it's a long one, so I am looking for Fill Black, Text Color 1, I believe it's this one. Fill Black, Text Color 1, Outline White, Background Color 1, Hard Shadow, White Background Color 1. So it is this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click, and now that's updated all of the text there. But I'm not done yet. So I'm going to go ahead and select all that text again. I now need to apply a text effect, a glowing one. So I'm going to find Text Effects, click on the drop down, go to Glow, and I'm looking for 5-point tan accent color 2, which looks like it's this first one that looks, to my eye and my screen, looks a little bit more yellow than tan, but that's the one that I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. All right, that's everything for slide 2. Next, we're going to go to slide 3. So we are going to use the content placeholder to insert a 3D clustered column. All right, so I can see in my placeholder that I have a little icon for charts. If you've got a slightly older version of PowerPoint where the order looks a little different, you're still looking for Insert Chart. So as I roll over each one of these, I can see that it tells me what that icon stands for. So I'm just looking for Insert Chart. And when it first opens, it opens to column already. So I'm looking for 3D clustered column. Now I can come over here and I can see that there's other ones like 3D column, but I am looking for specifically 3D clustered column. I'm going to click OK, give it a second, and here it is. Our chart is now in here, and now you're going to see, for those of you who are familiar with Excel, you get a mini Excel worksheet in here, and we're going to use that to update the data. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the instructions that I've been given on that tell me exactly what the data should look like. I can see that there's 2 columns or 2 vertical areas that I need. So I don't need these 2 vertical areas. So with that, you can see how the icon changes to an arrow that's pointing down. If I go ahead and right click and select delete, I can get rid of these columns that I don't need, which makes it a little easier to track my data. So this A column, row 1, doesn't need any data. That's going to stay empty. Next, I'm going to come to A2, and I'm going to type in Uber. Now, spelling definitely counts on this. So make sure that you're being careful, especially with words like Xiaomi, which is X-I-O-M-I. IAOMI. Next, we've got Airbnb. And finally, we've got SpaceX. Be careful to watch the spelling and your capitalization. All right, so now I know that by looking at the instructions, B1 should say not series 1, but billions. So I'm going to go ahead and type, get that out of there, billions. And then I'm going to come down. I know for B2 under Uber, it's 68. For Xiaomi, I know that it is 56. For Airbnb, it's 31. And for SpaceX, it's 21. So your table should look like this. Go ahead and take a second to pause the video if you need to. But once you're done, you can go ahead and just close that chart table. Excuse me, the chart spreadsheet that popped up. So now we need to modify this chart. The title is not going to be billions, so we need to type in most valuable startups, just like that. And we are going to change the chart style to 8. So I'm going to click away from my title to just make sure that I have my chart selected. I'm going to come up to chart styles and I'm looking for chart style 8. That's 5. Here we go. On my computer, it's the last one of the first row, but your screen size might make these a little bit different. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And I can see that it's kind of got this gradient or fading effect at the bottom. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Next, I'm going to come back to the font for the title, and I'm just going to change this to an 18-point size. So I'm going to select this, and I don't want to be in design or format. I want to go back to that home. I'm just going to select 18 right here. Now, you can always use the buttons right next to it, the toggle up and toggle down, to walk yourself down. This is valuable if you're not quite sure which size you want to use, but because it's so specific in our instructions, I find it easier to just go directly to 18. All right, next we need to use smart guides to align the chart that's shown in the position. So I'm going to go ahead and click away from my chart. Click, oops. That's a valuable thing. When you're clicking on it, make sure that you don't click on the center. You want to click and select the whole chart. So you want to, up here in this corner is a safe area to do that. So as I'm dragging up, we can see that I get all of these red dashed lines. So I can see that's the top one that I'm looking for, but I just need to drag it to the right and to the left until I get the markers that look like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and release the mouse. And here we go. That's what our slide 3 should look like. Now, with this slide still displaying, we are going to need to insert some additional slides from a different PowerPoint presentation. This is exactly what you're going to do when you finish your individual slide decks and need to bring them together for your group presentations. So, with slide 3 still selected, I'm going to come to Insert, New Slide, but I'm not going to click up on the icon. I'm going to click on the new slide. There's a little arrow pointing down for a drop menu. That's what I'm going to click, and I'm going to click Reuse Slides. The next thing that I need to do is I need to browse and find on my computer the support PowerPoint. This is it right here. And then I'm going to click Open. And I can see that I've got 4 slides in here, which is perfect. I can also see that Keep Source Formatting is not selected. This means that I don't have to worry about this dark purple color being added to my PowerPoint. If you and your teammates are all using different themes, this can help make sure that everything looks cohesive. Okay, next we are going to insert slide 2. So 1, 2. This is the numbers to numbers in the US. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a click, and I can see that it added itself. Next, I want slide 3, invest in your own success. click, and it added. And then slide 4, 5 key pieces, I'm gonna click, and that added itself. Now, that's all that I need. So I'm gonna go ahead and click the little X on this sidebar menu, and I'm back to my PowerPoint. So we're gonna go to the new slide number 4, numbers to numbers in the US, and we are going to use the align commands to bottom align the pictures to the slide. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on the images individually. I'm gonna come to Format, Align, and I'm going to align bottom, and align bottom. Now, the instructions aren't super clear on this one, but you also need to select them and distribute vertically. And this should give you that 100% that you were looking for. Next, we need to apply a picture style. So we're just gonna click, click, click. That way they are all selected, and I'm holding down that Control key when I do that. Then I'm gonna come up to Picture Styles, and I am looking for Relaxed Perspective White. So that's a bevel perspective. We're just gonna wander around here for a second. I can see Rotated White. There we go. Relaxed Perspective White. So it's right before the Faded Edge Oval. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. And there we have that. Next, we're going to go to slide 5, Invest in Your Own Success. And we are going to insert a text box. In order to do this, we're going to come to Insert, Text Box. And now I can see I've got sort of this upside down cross. I'm going to go ahead and click anywhere, and I'm going to type in, does my service have value? Double checking my spelling, and we're good. So now I need to change the font size to 32. So I'm going to press Control A, that way it highlights everything. You can also click and drag. I'm going to come up here, since I'm on the Home tab, I'm going to select 32. Now my text is nice and big. And I need to change the text box height to 0.7 and the text box width to 5.64. So with my text still selected, I'm going to come up to Format, and I'm going to change that height to 0.7 and press Enter. And I can see that the width automatically adjusted. So the next thing that I'm going to do is apply the Colored Fill Purple Accent 1 shape style. We're already where we need to be in format, so I'm just going to use this little arrow with almost a top hat to open up my styles. That way I can see everything at once. Now we're looking for the theme, which I believe is right here, Colored Fill Purple Accent 1. That's it. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. And I can see that it changed my font color, as well as it gave us a little bit of a border and a background color. So the next thing that I need to do is use the Smart Guides again to align the text box as it shows in the instructions. So I always like to go vertical first. So although I've got it in the right place, side to side, I just need to find that guide, and there it is. So there's a little bit of a gap, but we can see that there is the vertical and the horizontal line guides. So I'm going to go ahead and release that, and we're good there. Okay, on slide 7, so we're going to skip over 5 key pieces and go right to slide 7. We are going to change our word art style. So we're going to go ahead and select all that text, come back to Format, and then click the little down arrow with the top hat. That way we can see all of our styles. And we are looking for Fill Red, Accent Color 3, Sharp Bevel. There's really only one red one, so if I scroll over that, I can see it's the correct word art style. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. And I can see it's applied that style. Next, we'll go ahead and select all of that again. We are going to apply a text effect, transform. Now we got to find this one in here. We are looking for inflate middle, deflate top and bottom. So we're looking for one that's inflated, and there it is right there. Inflate middle, deflate top and bottom. So we're going to go ahead and give that a click. Creates kind of a warped perspective where it's almost as if the center is popping out towards us. Okay, now we're going to apply a shape effect, which is text effects was right here. We're going to come to shape effects, which is part of the shape styles group. So shape effects, we are going to apply a 3D rotation that is perspective right. So I see this is the perspective group. I'm looking for one that's facing towards the right. I can see that's contrasting right. So let's see. Here it is. Perspective right. Go ahead and give that a click, and you can see it gives it even more of an effect. Next, we're going to resize the text box height to 3.3. Again, all I'm going to do is click in there and type 3.3 on my keyboard and hit enter. So it makes it a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to use the align commands to center the word art horizontally on the slide. So again, I'm going to click that, align, distribute horizontally, and it moves it to the center of the slide. And then I'm going to use align commands to align the text box to the middle of the slide. So align, middle. There we go. We can see how it moved it first to the side and then up a little bit. This is the exact center of the slide. Okay, moving on to slide number 8. We are going to insert a column to the right, and we're going to add some more data. So we can see we've got esports, big data, but we need another column to the right. So I'm going to right click anywhere on my existing table, and I am going to select, I've got this little helper box up here with insert. I'm going to click on that and insert columns to the right. If I go ahead and move my cursor a little bit, I can see I've got a brand new column right here. Now in this column, I need to type some things. The first thing that I need is video games. And then we've got some numbers here. So it's 3,000, 724. And make sure you're putting that comma in. So 4,850. And then we have 6,319. There we go. So now we have that new column to the right. Next, we're going to apply the cross-cell bevel. So I need to make sure that I'm selecting all of the cells, which are these little boxes in my table. And I'm going to come to Design, Effects, Cell Bevel, and I'm looking for the one that says cross, which is this third one here on my screen. I'm going to go ahead and give that a click. And I can see it added sort of this 3D effect. That's pretty neat. All right, slide number 9. We are going to use the content placeholder to insert a table, which for me is this first icon right here. So I'm going to click Insert. Now it's asking me the number of columns. Columns are just like the columns of a building. They go up and down. Rows go from side to side. So those are horizontal. I can see on the instructions that I have 2 columns. So I'm going to change this to 2. I can also just use my keyboard and type, but I like using these little arrows right over here. And then I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So I'm going to make sure that it's 2 columns and 4 rows. Click OK, and it develops my table for me. Now I'm going to need to fill in the table with the content. So we're leaving this very first cell. We're leaving that blank. I'm going to come over here and type %. And then still around 5+ years. And that's 45. Now I'm not going to add the percentage. I'm not going to add that percentage character. Our column already indicates that this is a percentage. So I'm just going to type in the number 45. Next, I'm going to type previous failure. I'm going to type in 20. And then I'm going to type previous success. I'm going to type 30. Now, we're going to modify the table by inserting a new row. So all I have to do is, with this table selected, I'm going to right-click this bottom row, and I'm going to come back to Insert Rows Below, which adds a nice new row to the bottom. I'm going to type first time success. And then in %, I'm going to type in 18. Now I need to change the table style. So I'm already in design, but if you're not in design, you can go ahead and click that button. And we're going to change the table style to medium style 3 accent 1. So I'm going to use the little arrow with the top hat to bring that down. I know that I'm looking for a medium style, so it's going to be somewhere in here. Medium style 3 accent 1. So this is style 1, style 2, style 3, and this purple is accent 1. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a click, and we can see that it gave us some really cool effects to the style. Now I'm going to highlight the number 45, and I'm going to make it bold. Now I can do that with the little pop-up that comes up here. I can use that with the bold option on the upper ribbon, or I can use my keyboard to press Control and hold down Control and just tap B, and that makes the text bold. I can also use it to unbold. So if I'm just continually pressing B, I can see that I'm able to toggle it between bold and not bold. All right. So in the slide sorter view, which is what we've got over here on the side, we need to move slide 8 to become the last slide. So all that means is I need to just click on slide number 8 and drag. You can see number 9 pops right on up. Drag that down to the bottom. And I've got, this is the new slide 9. So let's double check that we've got everything and that it's in order. So on this first slide, we were able to crop this image, we were able to resize this image, and we put it into the brown frame here. On our second slide, we were able to change the image and change the word art and also add a glow effect. On slide 3, we were able to add a chart. We were able to remove the extra columns of the chart we didn't need. We updated the title, and we aligned it in the image. Slide number 4, we have our images down here at the bottom with the fancy frames. Slide number 5, we added this little text box here and aligned it properly. We didn't do anything to slide number 6, and slide number 6, 5, and 4 were all added from another PowerPoint slide, but we didn't do anything to change number 6. Number 7, we were able to change this word art to be this red color and to give it some additional effects. Slide number 8, which was originally slide number 9, but this slide number 8, we were able to add a table, add another row to the bottom, and we were able to bold that 45. And then for slide number 9, we were able to add another column, which is the up and down, another column to our table to the right, and we were able to do a different style on the table to make it look like this. So now the last thing for me to do is I'm just going to click save. Your program should automatically save, but it's always a good idea. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then the next thing that I need to do is just close and exit. I hope this video has been a help to you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help.